Welcome to the Little Smokies of Ohio. Around me is 64,000 acres, the largest forest in the Buckeye State. I'm here at Shawnee State Forest. I've had this on my radar for almost a year now. I'm finally here. I'm ready to tackle these brutal hills that I've heard stories about. Ups and downs like you wouldn't believe. Very few switchbacks. But I've been training for 6 months and I'm ready to see what this place could dish out. Let's go hit the trail. Well, I just started the hike. I'm only about a quarter mile in, and I have bad news. My GoPro would not turn on. I tried switching out all the batteries, and it just won't come on. So I'm relying on this old Lumix, Panasonic Lumix that I'm holding right now. So I'm gonna have shaky shots during this whole stinking hike. No smooth action of the 3-axis gimbal on this one. Maybe I'll try using my iPhone a little bit too. But man, I'm pretty bummed out. Drove all the way down here, almost 3 hours, and now I don't have a good GoPro. So, man, that sucks. And this thing makes digital noise while I'm videotaping. You'll probably hear it throughout the video. It's not real bad, but it's pretty annoying, if you ask me. And I'm gonna have to stop whenever I want to record something, because if I walk with this thing, it's just gonna be all jittery like that. Oh well, we'll deal with what we've been dealt. Let's get rolling. Oh, they weren't lying. It's been uphill for over a half mile since I started. But it kind of reminds me of Zaleski a little bit. How the first half mile was just uphill, uphill. For October 30th, there's quite a few green leaves out here still. Maybe it's because I'm so far south in the state of Ohio. 3 hours north where I'm from, it's beyond peat color. A lot of brown, a lot of bare trees. Well, I finally caught my breath on this downhill. I knew these hills are going to be brutal, and I know that there's not going to be any amazing views here, but I don't care. For some reason, I've been dying to do this one for like, since I started researching it. Let's try holding this up here. I've been dying to do this trail since last winter when I started researching it. I have this drive in me to want to tackle the hardest, most difficult trail that Ohio has to offer, and this is the premier backpack trail in Ohio for difficulty, for sure. There's nothing else that compares to it. Maybe 2 or 3 spots in Zaleski and Mohican, but those two aren't anything like what I want to see here. And I got another one. Oh yeah. I wanted to mention before I forgot that I didn't get on the trail till almost 4:30. I didn't leave till after lunchtime to come down here. So the plan is just to hike 6 miles to Camp 1 and hang the hammock there. And then tomorrow we're gonna have a massive day. At least to Camp 4, possibly Camp 5 or 6, if I can handle it. Just depends how much it rains and how worn out I am. This afternoon, just a quick 6 miles to Camp 1. When I left home today, it was like 36 degrees with a rain-snow mix. Absolutely miserable. I almost canceled the whole thing. But I looked at the weather down here and I saw that it was going to be partly cloudy, mid-40s, and I was like, let's go for it. Tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful, mid-50s and sunny. But the next 3 days after that, rain, on and off rain. So I'm hoping to cover a lot of miles tomorrow. So it's like 52 degrees, mostly cloudy. It's not bad. I didn't think I'd be wearing shorts when I left home. I actually wore pants on the way down here. When I got out and saw that it was 52 degrees, I was like, daggone, I'm gonna put the shorts back on. All right, these hills are teaching me something. I've come to the realization that yes, I do need trekking poles. Homemade trekking poles right here, and they're working great. I can't imagine how nice it'd be to have real poles. So I think I'm slowly being swayed to use trekking poles from here on out. It's pretty nice. Well, I've made it to Camp 1. Got a little fire pit here, a little chair, or a place to cook. Tucked in amongst these pine trees. Man, this is pretty nice. Getting really dark. It's about 7 o'clock. Made it just in the nick of time to be able to see what I'm doing here. Try to get a little fire going and get the hammock up right away. And the fire feels good. It's about 8 o'clock. I think I'm going to hit the sack early tonight and plan on having a huge day tomorrow. I definitely need my rest tonight. See you in the morning. Good morning, it's day 2. Got camp all packed up at 7:45. I wanted to get moving even earlier than that, but it was so dark that I just couldn't see anything. I didn't feel like getting out of my nice warm sleeping bag, but we're ready to roll. We're going to eat breakfast on the trail, maybe stop for a later breakfast once we get a couple miles down the trail. But looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful day. It's clear, it's calm, and it's about 40 degrees, 35 to 40 degrees. I'm not sure how accurate my thermometer is, but slept real good and ready to roll. There's the sunrise. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Feels nice too. All right, I finally think that climbing up these massive hills to the ridge tops is finally going to pay off with a view. We're in this little restoration area right here where they've bulldozed a new trail and put down some grass seed and some straw, it looks like. And look at this. A picnic table looking out into the little Smokies of Ohio. Oh wow, that's probably the best view we're going to get on this trip, I would imagine. What a great place to have breakfast. Look at those hills in the background. This is why it's called the Little Smokies of Ohio. Got some pretty colors going on out there. This is where I'm going to have my breakfast. Right here. The sunrise over these little mini mountains. Look at that. Well, I'm here at campsite number 2. Let's go check it out. A very nice fire ring. A few places around in here you can hang your hammock. Okay, the one thing that campsite number 2 has over number 1 is this right here. Yeah, there we go. There was not any kind of restroom facilities, outhouse, privy, whatever you want to call it, at Site 1. All right, let's get rolling. Holy moly, Shawnee has some hills. I just reached the top of this ridge that I've been climbing for the last quarter mile, and I checked my phone and it was 400 and just shy of 450 feet of elevation. That's a pretty good ascent for the state of Ohio, especially in a quarter mile span. Definitely tested my cardio out pretty good, but I still feel good and ready to rock and roll. It's nice to get to the top and get a little break, but those ascents, they definitely wear you down. It takes 2 or 3 times the energy to climb those, and it's worrying me a little bit, wondering if I'm going to get the mileage in today that I had planned. So we'll see. I'll keep plugging along. All right, I'm down here on Forest Road 1, I believe it is. And we're getting close to Camp 3, another 1.3 miles. I just came down off this ridge back here, 400 and some odd feet descent. And I tell you what, I think that might be almost as hard as an ascent. It's tough on the knees and the shins. So I'm learning a lot on this hike. That elevation gain and loss is not always easy. But I think I'm in good enough shape. I'm just learning a lot during the process. Let's get moving. Okay, I want to make a comment about a detour. So, across the street over here, on that Forest Road 1, where you come off the top of that main ridge after Camp 2, my maps say to get back on the trail and cross this little creek, but you stay on that road all the way out to 125. This is 125, and you go past Camp Oyo, I think it's called. It's a Boy Scout camp, Camp Oyo, and you cross 125 right there, come straight across, and here's where you pick back up the trail. So it's a pretty easy detour, but it messed me up for a few minutes. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find it, but we're good to go now. Other than the traffic noise right out here on 125, this is very peaceful and quiet back here. I know I say that in every video. I love peaceful and quiet. I finally made it to Camp 4. Let's go see what it looks like. Looks like we have 2 campsites here, or 2 fire pits. One there. Another one over here. This one's definitely better. A little rock chair. And plenty of places for tents. Not too many options for hammocks, just a few right there. There's also a water hydrant at Camp 4, so I'm going to go find that and fill up the water jugs and keep rolling. At least to Camp 5, and if I can make it, Camp 6. Okay, so we won't be getting water here at Camp 4. It's empty. Nothing. Well, thank goodness there's a creek right here. We can filter some water, because I am out. Whew! On that last 350-foot ascent to the top of this ridge, I checked my pulse because I was breathing pretty heavy and I was just curious. My heart rate was up to 170. And I have a pretty low resting heart rate. Hiking up to the top of these ridges is about the same difficulty as a good jog. But fortunately, we get to the top and we get a little break. Some easier walking anyway. We finally have a little view up here. Check it out. A lot of green leaves out there. I'm surprised. October 31st, and I would guess 75% of the leaves are still green and on the trees. A lot later down here in southern Ohio. I'm here at campsite 5. Hopefully this one has some water. There's the water fill. There's the forest trail that they come up to fill it. And the hydrant is right there. Well, I'm here at campsite 5. Not much. The only thing it has going for it is this tremendous view. That's pretty nice. .4 miles to campsite 6. It's supposed to be awesome. I can't wait to get there and hang my hammock and get off my feet. It has been a long day, but a good day. Perfect weather. Let's get rolling. Campsite 6, hallelujah. Plenty of water. Wow, boy am I glad to be at Camp 6. I don't know if I've ever looked forward to getting to a campground more than I did today. What a long, long walk. We're going to see how long it was. Alright, 22.3 miles today. Average speed 3. Definitely slowed down the last half. Elevation change. 3,700 ascent, 3,900 descent. So a fair amount of elevation change there. So I've been looking forward to getting to Camp 6. Everything I read online, blogs, vlogs, watching YouTube videos, even backpackohio.com, their maps even talked about how great Camp 6 was. And I would say it's delivered. It was very nice. There's 2 different campsites here. We're at one with numerous places to hang a hammock amongst the hemlocks. And then across the creek where we walked in, it's a decent site over there. And we have a outhouse right over here. So what more could you ask for? This is a great campsite. Well, I've learned 3 things today while hiking Shawnee State Forest backpack trail. One is it's by far the most difficult hiking loop in the state of Ohio. Hands down, no questions. I've done them all. Archer's Fork, Wildcat Hollow, Burr Oak State Park, Mohican. I think there's a few others beyond those. But this one is by far the most difficult. And number 2, I learned that I need trekking poles. I have never used trekking poles in my life. And less than a half mile in, I was making trekking poles out of sticks. I'm sure you've seen them earlier in the video. I have used these things the entire way. They are a lifesaver. So the minute I get off this trail tomorrow, I'm going straight to Walmart and buying a cheap pair of trekking poles. And then I will upgrade into something nicer. But these things save the knees, ankles, and shins, calves quite a bit. The third thing that I learned on the trail today is my cardio is good enough to handle a 22-mile day. I've always wondered. I've only been running once a week, sometimes twice a week, and maybe every other week or so I would get a good hike in with the backpack on. But other than a little bit of soreness in my feet and shins on the downhill, I was able to handle these 22 miles with not much problem. The last 6 miles was a little difficult. I started wearing down a little bit and noticing my feet getting a little bit sore. I never got overly winded. It's mainly just my feet and ankles are starting to get a little worn out. So those are the 3 things I learned on the trail today. And we got like 9 miles tomorrow morning to hike out of here, and Shawnee State Forest will be conquered. Something I failed to mention earlier, I alluded to it briefly when we started the hike at the check-in, or at the trailhead parking. I knew there was not going to be any beautiful vistas on this trail, overlooks, rock formations. I knew it was pretty much just going to be walking up and down hills. But what a great trail to test yourself. I wanted to see what I was capable of doing. I was up for a challenge. I wanted to see what I could handle, and today was a great measuring stick to allow me to know where I'm at in backpacking. All right, time for fire and supper. It was a little difficult getting the fire started. All the wood was pretty damp. It's really dark in this area from all the hemlocks, pine trees, shading the sun out. Everything's set up and I hear it calling my name. I'm so tired. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. Okay, I'm gonna cook some supper and hit the sack. Good night. Good morning. I've been in my hammock for 12 hours. I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night, and it's 8 o'clock now. It started raining at about 4:30. You can hear just a little bit of the sprinkling outside. So I'm ready to hop out of this hammock, get some breakfast going, and knock out this last 9 miles of Shawnee. I just about have camp broke down, and I'm heading down here to the creek to filter some water. And let me show you where it is in relation to my camp. Right there. Farewell to Camp 6. Well, I'm back on the trail, and I feel great. 12 hours of sleep will do wonders for the body. I don't feel any pain in my feet at all. I think I spent 10 or 15 minutes in the hammock this morning stretching my toes both directions and my arch and my Achilles and just rubbing my feet really good, and maybe that helped a little bit, I don't know. But I am ready to rock and roll. Whew! That was a brutal ascent I just did. About 1.5 miles out of Camp 6. I think it's one of the top 3, if not the worst ascent in this whole trail. That was rough. I think they say it's about 450 feet, and it's less than a quarter mile. It's like 200 to 300 yards. So it's pretty steep. All right, let's continue on. Getting close to Camp 7. I've been going so fast today that I haven't stopped to take time and look at the beauty all around me. Some massive hills around here and lots of beautiful leaf color. It's still raining. I've been on the trail for about 1.5 hours and I'm soaked. I mean, the frog togs are keeping me pretty dry, but my feet, the Ultra Lone Peaks, about a half hour in, soaked to the bone, and now I'm just sloshing along with every step. So I'll be looking forward to get back to the truck and get some dry socks on. But as Darwin on the trail says, you have to embrace the suck. And I'm definitely embracing the suck right now. Let's get rolling. There's the buck. There's deer scrapes everywhere along the trail. It's rut season for the deer, or they're in rut. So I saw 2 doe run across while I was eating lunch, and they kept looking around behind them, and sure enough, a couple minutes later there came the buck. I just made it to the top of another huge ridge after being in a valley for a little while. And here's a good view of what we're dealing with today in the weather. Not very pretty. Well, I stopped for 10 minutes to grab a quick bite at the bottom of that hill, and where I saw the deer, and I got a little chilly. I wore gloves in the beginning of the day, but I took them off because I was plenty warm. But when you stop for 10 minutes and the blood stops pumping, you get a little chilly. It's probably around 50 degrees. So if you sit still too long, I imagine hypothermia would set in. But with all these hills out here, I've been plenty warm. And I'm staying pretty dry. Got a few wet spots. These frog togs aren't the greatest. All right, we're 4.4 miles away from Camp 6, where I came from this morning. And this is a part of the Buckeye Trail that we're on today. Here's the break off for Camp 7. Just a 1/10 of a mile down that way. And I'm not going to go check it out. I'm going to keep heading on to my truck at the trailhead and 4.4 miles. Final half mile. Woohoo! Woohoo! All right, let's see how the old Ark Hall fared during 4 hours of rain. Pretty darn wet on the outside. I mean, I'm soaked to the bone all the way through. Let's see what we got in here. Oh yeah, dry as a bone. Not one drop anywhere. Well, until now. Sweet. Don't really need a pack cover with the Ark Hall, except for things on the outside. Like if I was going to camp tonight, it'd really suck having wet Crocs. My Helinox chair might be wet. There's my tarp, wet tarp. So, not too bad. All right. Shawnee was a killer. I'm glad it's over. Feels great to have that one conquered. Let's go find some good food. Man, does it feel good to have dry clothes on and be warm. It was pretty miserable today. So I'm here at Shawnee Lodge. We're gonna go inside and see if there's any food. Well, I ended up not getting any food at Shawnee State Park Lodge because the restaurant was only open in the evenings. It's kind of the off season, so that time of year things aren't really opened up. Anyway, I after leaving Shawnee, I headed towards Portsmouth and ended up finding a nice place in downtown Portsmouth that had some good food. And now, believe it or not, I am here at Lake Vesuvius in Pedro, Ohio. It's 5:30. I just got here, got my pack reloaded with a new supply of food, and I am ready to hit the Lake Vesuvius Lakeshore Trail. We're going to do the 16.2 mile backpack trail, and I'm hoping to just get in far enough tonight where I can get camp set up before dark. So I was thinking about heading home, and then the weather turned. We got partly cloudy skies, mostly cloudy skies, but it's warm. It's like 52 degrees, and the rain's done for a while. So I've been wanting to come to Lake Vesuvius for a while now, and I was right down here at Shawnee, which is less than an hour away, probably 45 miles away. And I was like, why not? Quick little 16.2 mile overnight. All right, the sun's going down already, so I better get moving. Let's go check this place out.